Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this webinar as we prepare for the North and South Regional Track Meets. It's that time of year again here in 2022. Again, thank you for joining us. And as we walk through this information, if questions are created, please make sure you email us at info@taps.biz. That's our email. This is the South Track and Field Regional Meet information. We will have a separate one for the North. And we'll jump us over to the TAPS website really quick. As we look at the website, www.taps.biz, click on athletics, jump down to track and field, and that's going to populate the homepage there. The first box is going to be in green where it says regional meet information. Click on that for us, and that's going to take you to all the information you should need as you work through your regional track fee sheet. That's up there for you to download and then walk back through how many entries you have and how much you owe. Really important words there in green. The fair effort rule goes into effect noon Saturday. That's tomorrow, April the 23rd. As we get both meets or all three meets in and we're able to determine who is coming and who is not, we'll have the preliminary heat sheets up. Those will be in the purple boxes. We definitely need some help on the field event help workers. So 1A, 2A day, 3A, 4A day, 5A, 6A day, you will be working in your own classification. As you qualify from district to regional, if you have changes, that's the sheet in blue, the little skinny one. And if you're withdrawing students, they must be withdrawn from individual events prior to noon on Saturday to avoid the fair effort rule going into effect. We'll have more on that later. So the top half of the sheet is in blue. That's the North region. Go below that big black line you have in red. That's the South regional information. That's what we'll be talking about in this webinar. Hey, Robert, jump in here with us. Robert Huckabee, our Director of Compliance Associate Director, is here with me today. Talk to us a little bit about the dates and the location itself.
Okay, Brian, thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. Next Tuesday, April 26th, that will be our day for 3A, 4A. So 3A, 4A, your regional meet will be next Tuesday, April 26th. For our 1A groups, you will not need any prelims. In the South, we do not need any prelims on that Tuesday. So 1A, 2A, your day will be the next day, April 27th on Wednesday, and then we'll wrap up our regional meets on April 28th with our 5A, 6A schools.
For those of you who've been in TAPS a while, we're going back to the Hart-Patterson track complex that's now owned by the city of Waco. So what used to be Floyd Casey Stadium is now a big old paved over place. A lot of excess parking up that way, but we will be at the city of Waco Hart-Patterson track complex on 32nd Street. Please do not go by the Baylor campus at MLK. That is not where we are going to be. We'll jump us back down. Here's the map. We're going to talk about this just a minute, so we'll take a deep breath. We have spectator parking in the front. School vehicles, whether it be van, whether it be bus, whether it be large bus or charter bus, are all going to park over there in the old Floyd Casey parking area. For those of you who've been there before, the team tent area is outside the gate. For those that haven't been, it's still outside the gate. The team tent area is over there on the right-hand side. That's also the team gate where the students can come in and go. Coaches can come and go accordingly. The team warm-up area is the grassy area to your top right. The heat tent is also where we're going to do implement weigh-in. So all competitors going into both field events and running events will come through the heat tent. They'll get their name checked off, and then they'll disperse on out. Field workers additionally will come through there. The hospitality, that's kind of the important thing for a lot of you. The hospitality and the metal pickup will be in the Morgan building over there as it's designated. And right next to that will be the food trucks or whatever we can accommodate over there. So food is at the hospitality area and the metal pickup. The trainer will be at the split in the stadium right there at the start finish. So if you need a trainer, we will have fully accomplished trainers there on site. The spectator gate is over on the left-hand side down at the bottom. So spectators go in the spectator gate, teams go in the team gate, and somewhere in the middle, they'll converge and go around. So we will be sending out a fan info sheet, again, with this information on it. Once we forward that to you, we would ask that you share that with all your families and your fans that are coming. It's a return to the Hart-Patterson track complex. It was the home of TAPS track for 39 years, so we're making a return engagement. Thanks to Tom Hill and the city of Waco for making that happen when we struggled finding a location for the South meets, all three of them, somebody that could handle us over the 3 days. Robert, walk us through the meet timeline and what coaches can expect and students can expect when they show up.
So when you show up on your day, the facility will open at 7:15. At 7:30, coaches registration will be open. So coaches, you can come check in, and at that same time, as is typically the case, go ahead and bring in all your implements. That'll be all in the same area there in that heat tent area. At 7:30, start bringing your implements in and begin that process, because implement check-in will close at 8:30. So we have a 1-hour window for you, regardless when you might be throwing during that morning block of field events. Go ahead and bring everything in. Our officials who are there weighing and measuring everything, inspecting all of our implements, we want them to have plenty of time to get that done, have them all secured, and then get them out to the particular events. At 8:45, our field events will begin. Those block of field events, and that order of those events is on that page posted for your particular meet on the website. At 9:30, we'll have our 3,200 meter runs. Those will begin at 9:30. At 1:30, we'll open the track up for warm-ups in preparation for our afternoon running events. You'll have about 45 minutes to get out there, warm up, get your mark set for that first relay, get all that out of the way, and then about 2:15, we'll start clearing the track, and we'll do our first call for our running events, and those will begin at 2:30.
So basically, once we close the track in the morning with the beginning of the 3,200s, the track itself will be closed for getting your marks or running. The warm-up area will be used, as we do have field events. All field events are inside the stadium, so we'll be using all areas that go with that. The other thing that I think is important, going back to food, which is always close to my heart, at the South Meet, you will get your coach's meal tickets for lunch. We'll be serving you breakfast over there at that Morgan building of the hospitality, but you'll also get your meal ticket for lunch at the time of registration, so you don't want to forget that. Again, Robert indicated, and I'm going to say it again, we will have implement check-in beginning at 7:30 and ending at 8:30. That doesn't mean everything's going to be ready to go out then, but it means everything you're turning in needs to be turned in by then. Again, they're checking for defects, they're weighing them, they're going through the whole process. The same thing that's going to happen at state for next week. So please make sure you have your name, your classification, and your school name, whatever it is on there, so you can identify them. If you're shot or disc or disqualified, you can throw from the field. Anything that's out there is eligible for use. And if they do get disqualified, we ask that you take them away and go ahead and make sure you pick those up. We don't need any more in our storage unit than we already have. We've got quite a few really good door stops that go with that. At coach registration, you'll pick up your coach's packet. You'll sign your forms. The regional meet fees are due at that time. If you don't have them, then we can make arrangements for you to pay digitally later on. Information, you'll have your heat sheets and your maps. You'll be able to pick those up at that time. You'll also do your COVID affirmation form. I know folks think that COVID is gone with the airlines doing away with the mask, et cetera, but we have had a couple that were not able to compete last week in music because of COVID. So make sure you and your school have that figured out. If it is a COVID scratch and it has an effect, please let us know at that time. Pole vault certification, if you have vaulters, you will be doing a sheet for each vaulter, and you will take those to the pole vault. They will collect them at the pole vault site. So you don't turn those back into us. You take them out to the pole vault official who's actually working the event. So Robert, talk to us about, once the meet starts, advancing to regional meet has already been taken care of, but go ahead and talk to us about how that occurred and what we're doing right now today.
So qualification is from the district to regional level, and that has already been done. I think we have one district that's finishing up today, but all of you hopefully have already completed and done your district meet. Those results are forwarded on to the regional level. There is no need for you to do anything else to enter your athletes in the regional meet. Those entries are pulled over from those district meet results. As Brian mentioned, those tentative heat sheets are going to be posted on the website as those particular classifications finish their district meets. That meet file is prepared, so you can go look on there to make sure everything looks correct with regard to your district results. If you see anything that does not look correct, then please reach out to us and let us double check that for you. 1A is the exception. 1A goes straight to regionals. So you've already done your entries. Those entries are already closed. And then once again, you'll be able to go on our website and look at those preliminary meet programs and those heat sheets to double check those as well.
So as you ran your heats in your district results, they've passed through. If you do have relay name changes, make sure that you get your alternates on the relay change forms. Make sure everything is on there. If you are withdrawing someone between district and region, please complete that form as well. That has to be done now. That's even in truth for 1A, Robert. Is that not correct? That 1A would also need to do that because their entries are final. So if they're going to withdraw somebody from a 1A regional meet, they need to do that with the form as well, correct?
That is correct. All 1A has been closed. Their entries are closed. So tomorrow at noon, the 23rd at noon, is the deadline for all classifications 1A through 6A to complete a withdrawal form. If you have a withdrawal from an individual event, that protects you from the fair effort rule. However, after noon tomorrow, the fair effort rule will be in effect for all 6 classifications.
So by withdrawing, we will advance the next qualifier from that region. We will not cross over region to region, but we can't do that until we get that withdrawal form. So by Monday, we should have all of that reorganized and have updated heat sheets for posting on Monday. Withdrawing from the state meet, Robert, talk to us about the date timeline on that before the fair effort rule comes into play.
So the withdrawal process will be the same. The form will be there on that page with regard to the state meet, and that deadline will be once again 12 noon next Saturday. So we'll do all our regionals Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then by next Saturday, April the 30th, that will be the deadline for any withdrawals from an individual event moving from the regional to the state meet. So keep that date in mind. If you have qualifiers, they need to withdraw for some reason, be sure to go on, fill out that form, and make those changes before that deadline.
So even though we have a deadline out there, if you have a young man, young woman get sick on the way, it doesn't mean you can't withdraw them. It just means that if you withdraw them from an individual event, at that time, the fair effort rule comes into play. Robert, I'm going to let you talk just a little bit about the fair effort rule because I'll say it the first way. I'll make it the way I understand it. Correct me, please, as I'm wrong. Basically, once you withdraw, after the fair effort rule goes into place, if a student is withdrawn from an individual event, they cannot compete in any event past that on the cycle or on the schedule in this meet. So if I withdraw someone from the 800 meter, they would not be eligible to participate in the 4x2 or the 4x4, so you could not make that change. So truly, if you're going to scratch them, you're saying they're not going to participate. We also get that what is fair effort? Does it just mean run down the runway and walk into the sand? Do I have to make an attempt at a height? So Robert, talk to us just a little bit about your vision of what the fair effort rule means that I may have missed.
No, I think you said it correctly. If you fail to show up or participate or scratch out of an event, you are out of the meet for the rest of the meet. That does not affect any previous results you may have had prior to scratching or withdrawing from the meet. But going forward, you're out. You could not participate in any other events. With regard to what is a fair effort, that's really going to be up to our meet officials who are at that particular event. Obviously, you have to make some type of effort. If you're in a throwing or jumping event, you're going to have to make some kind of effort. You could make a fair effort and scratch on a particular event. That could still be a fair effort. That doesn't mean you have to make a mark, but you do have to make a fair effort. Sometimes this is confused. I know in the long and triple jump, somebody could have a great jump on their first jump. They could be in the lead by a large amount. They're allowed to pass on any of their other attempts, and that is perfectly fine. That's within the rules. But with regard to participating in an event, you do have to make a fair effort. If you were in a running event, you would need to line up on the track. You would need to start appropriately. You would need to make some type of effort in that race. That doesn't necessarily mean, given the circumstances, you would have to finish that race, but that would be up to the meet officials at that particular event to make that judgment. If you have questions about a student, we have this happen every year. Somebody might be injured during the meet. They may or may not be able to proceed. Please find one of us. Please discuss so that you make sure you know what your options are for you and your athlete, that if you can make a fair effort, you do that. If you can't and you're out of the meet, then you know what the effect of that is for the rest of the meet.
I think the biggest thing that comes up in this, Robert, is that it is at the discretion of the event referee, the event official. So if you're in the long jump and those two officials believe that a fair effort was not reached, that goes to the meet referee. The meet referee at that time would make that call in conjunction with the TAPS personnel. Again, you go out to the blocks on the 4x4 and you intentionally jump when they call set. It's up to the starter, the backup starter, and again, the meet referee, running referee, to determine whether that was fair effort or not. So don't leave it in the hands of folks that you don't want to leave it in the hands of. If you've got a question, please come see us. If you've got somebody that's nursing a tender hamstring or whatever before the meet starts, let us know what's going on. The next thing we're going to talk about host facility rules. So we are in the South. We want to keep it as clean as possible. One of the things that we need to do is keep it as clean and as neat as when we got there. So please follow that. Please make sure your parents go through and get the wristband where they're going to be. Teams come through where they're going to be. As of this time, the city of Waco is asked for a clear bag policy. I don't know that they will enforce it. So, but be prepared if they do ask for that. Make sure moms and dads and all that know. They have asked for no outside food or drink by the spectators. Our teams can have their food or drink. We encourage the hydration especially, but that's all down in the team area. So make sure that we follow through with that. Opening heights, they are raised from whatever you had at district probably. So the girls' high jump is 4.2, the boys is 5.2, pole vault 6.6 and 8.6. That means that's where the bar will start. We won't go 2 inches or 6 inches below minimum qualifying heights. So the bar for the high jump, 4.2 and 5.2, 6.6 and 8.6 is where the bar begins. Everyone that comes in at that height will get 3 attempts, whether they make them or not, totally based on that effort. But that is where the bar will start. At state, Robert, the heights go up a little bit. So again, same thing there. But what are those heights?
So girls high jump 4.4, boys 5.4. Pole vault, girls 7 foot, boys 9 foot. Once again, that's where the bar will start as that event begins at the state level.
So if you qualify by clearing 6.6, so to speak, and the girls at the regional, you clear 6.6, you've qualified for state. We fully anticipate you'll be there at state, but know that bar is going up 7 inches or 6 inches to start with to 7 foot. So kind of keeps us on a track there. Well, let's move on and talk a little bit more about the field events while we're talking there. So as we go forward, it is a block schedule. It's posted under each. A block schedule means it's a rolling start. The only one we're going to start at that one time is the first time posted as we get started. And then as the officials start winding down, we'll be giving first call, second call. I will tell you, you need to pay attention. The sound system is going to be portable. So make sure somebody's there that's listening and paying attention. Don't want to be late. If I have athletes that are in 2 events at the same time on the block, or one runs early and the other runs long, both the athlete and the coach need to go check in with the official at both sites. We've struggled the last couple of years with coaches running over and checking in. The officials want to see the athlete as well because they want to know who they're looking for. Robert, I don't know how to say it any other way other than to say vertical events always pretty well take precedent over horizontal events because the bar is going to move whether you're there or not.
The bar's going to move. The verticals do take priority with regard to bouncing back and forth between 2 events going on at the same time. We try to schedule the jumping events within themselves so there aren't that many conflicts. We try to do the same with the throwing events, but we do know there will be conflicts that occur from time to time. We cover this in depth with our officials so they know. They're willing to work with you, but you do have to, on your end, make sure the coach and the athlete check in as much as you can. Get in some jumps or get in some throws and then move back and forth. Please work with us in doing that. The officials will work with you. But at the same time, you are in 2 events at the same time. So make sure your athlete knows that they are going to need to bounce back and forth, get some attempts in at both, or at least be checking in at both, know the status. One might be moving a little quicker than the other. So don't just check in and then go to one and camp out there the whole time. Bounce back and forth. We will work with you. I know we've done this a lot in the past. Brian will be in the South, I'll be in the North, but we will work with you if you'll let us know and let the officials know. We'll help you get back and forth as best we can. We want the athletes to be able to compete as much as possible, but we do have to keep the meet moving in a reasonable time frame.
I think the biggest concern I have here, Robert, is that they need to get a qualified jump or throw in those first three, because then we do reverse order later on in the horizontals and the weights. So we're not going to give you all 6 later on. They do need to go over there, get 1 jump or 1 throw in, and it needs to be a fair mark for them to be able to move forward. Again, weight check-in, make sure you have 2A or 3A, make sure you have your school initials or something on there to identify them. They will be inspected for weight, dimension, and defects for use during the competition. Pick up those that did not pass, and again, pick up those that did pass. We don't want any more shot and disc in the office. And remember and Robert, I'll let you talk to the girls' shot, because we've had this come up time and time again.
This happens every year. We try to make it a point of emphasis. The girls' shot high school competition is 4.0 kilograms. That's the official shot. That equates to 8.8 pounds. There is also a shot made that is 8 pounds. I think it's used in junior high meets or other things at times. I can't tell you how many shots we throw out every year that come in as 8 pounds instead of 4 kilograms. So please double check that for your girl shot. Make sure you're using the right one. And please, if you can, mark your shots and disc ahead of time. It will save a lot of time on implement check-in, and that line will go a lot quicker. If you'll go ahead and mark the classification, boys or girls, and then get your school initials on there, our officials can move you through quickly.
All right, we're going to move to the pole vault. Will, if you click over there again, you'll pick up your certification form. We're not going to have it returned at the time of registration. We are going to move it on where you turn them in at the event. So they do want to see those when they get out there. The referee there should check the pole for condition. He may tell you to make some changes or it's good or not, and it must meet all NFH rules and regulations. If you've been vaulting on the pole all year, I would assume they've been checking those at other meets, but they will be checked here as they will at state. So make sure what we go. At the present time, I think we may have to combine, but for the most part, I think our vaulters fields are full. So it'll be 3A against 3A and 4A against 4A, but we'll make sure we tell you on the day of registration what that's going to look like. Robert, again, vertical events take precedence. If you have a conflict, both need to come on over, coach and athlete, make sure we're checked in, make sure we know what's going on. If you'll talk just a little bit about at the regional meet, this is not the state meet, this is the regional meet, what to expect in the pole vault and high jump once a champion is determined.
So in our vertical jumps, our high jump and our pole vault, you compete within your group. Once a champion has been determined, we will allow that champion to get one more height. They can pick whatever height they want. They can pick a PR. They can pick whatever they want. You cannot break the TAP state record at any place other than the state meet. So there is no state record you can break at that point. But when a champion has been determined, we will give you one height. You'll get all 3 attempts if you need them to clear that height. But you will only get that one height to try to one more time break a PR or whatever you need to do at that level. At the regional meet, this is a qualifying meet for the state meet. So we're on a very tight schedule, and we've had this happen in the past where the entire meet gets held up because we're waiting on pole vault to finish because it's taken one person an hour to try to set a PR or to go multiple heights. We just don't have the ability to do that at our regional meets. We got 3 days of regional meets that we've got to complete. At the state meet, Brian addressed that a little bit. We will have a little more flexibility there.
At the state meet, we'll run it just like National Federation. We'll move the bars as accordingly once they clear the height, unless weather or other concerns press us into doing something different. If you've been with us a while, it seems like weather concerns and Friday track and field day for TAPS go hand in hand. We seem to bring the rain to Waco whenever they need it. So if we do reserve the right to go back to that same rule of one height, if weather concerns, otherwise we're going to try to push through and give everybody that opportunity to climb whatever height it is that they wish to go incrementally. So again, we're going to move forward with the pole vault and high jump. We're going to keep them moving. I know it's difficult, but at this stadium, again, we did have a couple that were conflicts that the high jump and shot or high jump and long jump, whatever, they're fairly close in the South Stadium. So it's not as big an issue as perhaps years ago when we were at Challenger, when one was at one end of the stadium and one is at the other. It's only possible for us to make this work by having field event workers. We can't run the meet without your helping. You will work in your classification where possible. You can coach them while working. You just have to step away from the rake and coach very quickly, or step away. If you have vertical events, high jump and pole vault, whether it's you as a coach or whether it's one of your assistant coaches, or it could even be a student, we need help setting those bars. We need help steadying, whatever. If you've got pole vaulters, you're pretty well saying you're going to work the pole vault. Please don't make us call out multiple times that we're not going to start until that happens. The horizontal events, the only way they work is that if we pick up the shot and disc, retrieve them and mark and whatever is needed. So please sign up your workers for the shot disc. And again, the long and triple, we do have to rake. But it's a good opportunity to get in the exercise for the day, and then you can sit back during the relays and whatever comes that afternoon. So those forms are on that regional track webpage. Please make sure you jump in there and help out as best possible. Robert, rules compliance, talk about the uniforms and exactly, I'm sorry, click on, we don't need any running event workers. So Robert, talk about uniforms and just exactly what we're expecting from an NFHS. Just a brief deal there and what we expect as TAPS.
So uniforms need to be NFHS and TAPS compliant. You can find those in our bylaws. That would be section 186 and 187. Those are the track rules. The ones we have most frequently, remember, if you wear some type of tights or compression shorts, you have to wear some type of shorts over that. For girls, we would call that modesty shorts. For boys, it would just be normal track shorts, but you cannot wear just the tights or just the compression shorts without something over that. Obviously, you need to all be wearing the same uniform. If you're in a relay, you need to all be in the same uniform so you're easily identifiable by the officials. Just be aware of those issues. If there is a uniform issue, you would be issued a warning, and then you could not compete again in the next event without curing that uniform issue. We are not going to have coaches coming to us after an event has already been completed or a race has been run and try to get somebody else disqualified for a uniform issue that was not noticed or was not called out by the official. If that happens, we'll address it at that point and we'll move on.
I think one of the big things here is everyone is coming through the heat tent here in the South track and field meets. So uniforms will be reviewed to a certain extent there. If we see something later on, coaches will definitely reach out to you and let you know. So again, it's closed leg briefs for the girls. They can't knot their tops. You can't have a bare midriff. There's a lot of things that you can do. There's a lot of things you can't do. Just make sure that you're compliant with the National Federation rules. We had one problem or two the last couple of years. Remember that all of your relay runners have to be in the same singlet, and then make sure if the leggings go below the knee, the rules that apply there. Other than that, I think it's pretty simple. If you've got questions when you get there, we'll be glad to walk you through it. Tom Hill, our meet director, has been fortunate enough to find a plethora this year of officials now that we've gone back to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So our officials are U.S. track and field certified. They've been doing meets all year long. Their word is final. Remember that in section 138, you cannot protest an official's call. The official's call is final. We can ask questions, but we'll talk about protest here while we're there. You can protest if you desire. There will be a form available. It's a $40 fee to protest, but remember, you're protesting a misapplication of a rule, not a judgment call based on an official's call. Robert, can you expound upon that and just the idea of video or no video when we're talking about a protest?
So no video is allowed. We have this happen every year. Something happens in a relay. There's either a disqualification. It could happen in any event, but frequently it happens in relays. There's either a disqualification that occurs or somebody saw something they think should have been a disqualification and it was not called. Video cannot be used no matter who took it, no matter what angle it came from. Video cannot be used for those reviews. You can certainly ask questions. We can certainly go to the meet official, go to those officials at that particular curve in the instance of a relay, and we could ask them clarification, what they saw. But in the end, if that's their call, that's their call. If it is a finish line, bang, bang, finish, and we do have our timer that does have their own video, we will allow a coach to ask for a review of a video for a bang, bang finish. And we will verify that. just know that we've already looked at it. The timer's already looked at it. They've made the call in terms of the order of finish based on what they saw, but we will allow you, without an official protest, you can just ask for that, and we'll allow you, as time allows throughout the meet, to step in there, look at it with us, see for yourself. That is the only video that can be used, is that finish line video by our timer who's running the meet, and we certainly will allow you to look at that and verify that. Other than that, there's no video. If you have questions, ask. But like Brian said, in the end, if the official has made a call because that's the way they saw it, or there was no call made because they did not see an infraction, that really cannot be appealed. That will not change.
So I guess the best way of saying that, Robert, is if we're going to have someone come down, whether it was a bang finish or they just want to make sure that, hey, both colors of blue, we were both wearing navy, make sure you got the right one in the right lane. Those things can take place. We will be glad to work with you where possible. However, that is not the most pressing thing that's going to be occurring at that time. So it may be that we have to go up, depending on where our timer is set up. We'll walk you up there and take care of that. But understand that we will do our best to get you to be able to see those videos. If a change needs to be made, it could be made to the official posting at that time. Again, that is a correctable error if there is something noted. So we will go down that road. Again, very proud of our officials. They've done a good job. Most of them have worked TAPS track meets in the past. We will have curve judges as well. So just make sure that on your distance runs, you explain the difference between stepping inside and not stepping inside. That seems to be a pretty big issue. The awards, so we'll move on down to that. The awards at the regional, we're awarding points for all 8 places, just like we do at state. The individual event and the relay awards are for the top 4 finishers. They will get medals. Team awards, 1st through 4th place at the end. We will determine an athlete of the meet based on individual performances. Those will be awarded at state. In looking at the weather for next week as we go forward, Tuesday is cool. It's 55 to 75, but the wind going to be 15 to 20. Make sure your athletes are hydrated. That wind will suck it out of them before they know it. Wednesday's a little hotter for our 5A, 6A's, 62 to 87. Hart-Patterson it's humid. It's down there in the bowl. I don't know how much wind will be getting in, but it will be hot on Thursday. So make sure by the time we get to the running on Thursday, we're hydrated. Any chance of rain is in the morning. We will be checking that. We will be making sure things are going forward. Updates as we go forward, and once you get there, please follow Twitter Track. That's how we'll make any updates or changes if something occurs, scheduling, etc. We will be creating a fan info page. It will be updated on Monday and posted. We ask that once you get that email, you send it out to your parents and any fans. It'll tell them where to park. It'll tell them about ticketing. It'll tell them all the good things they need to know. Robert, I think we're ready to go to track. I think we're getting the trailers packed today. I think we're going to be repacking them on Monday for whatever we missed. We look forward to it. We're so glad to be back in person, just like we were last year, to see our athletes compete, see everybody come back together. Any final thoughts that you have?
If you have any questions, reach out to us. We'll be glad to assist as these meet programs get posted. If you see anything or have any questions, reach out to us. We'll be glad to double check it and work through it with you.
We'll do final call-ups on Saturday. Once that sheet comes out Monday, or once we've updated it, it's pretty well ready to rock and roll. Please do not, if you're withdrawing a student, make sure you fill out that form. Don't just call the next person up, because that means we probably don't know about it. So we will do our very best to notify. If you have the next person coming up, you do not have to accept that call up if you don't want that. We have had that question asked previously. You might have been 5th place in your district and you don't want to advance. Do you want that runner to be able to do 3 relays? That is your option as a coach. So we look forward to seeing everybody in Waco at the South region. We look forward to then advancing those to the state tournament. If you have questions, www.taps.biz athletics, click on track, jump over to the regional information page, info at taps.biz, or give us a call, 254-947-9268. And again, field event workers, we need your help. If you're dropping students by noon on Saturday, and if you're making relay changes, fill out the form. Thank you all. We look forward to seeing you in the South. Congratulations to all those who have made it to the TAPS South Regional Track Meet.